So Jamaica 60, right? And of course, to commemorate this, I guess the masses were expecting, and I'm starting with the masses and adverse to the powers that be. The masses were expecting like festival songs as we get each year, or we try to get each year, because we've had a couple of years where we didn't, right? And especially for Jamaica 68, that's going to be such a big thing. There's so many different angles that we're trying to approach it from and celebrate from, and the masses thought that we're going to get it, right? And we ain't getting none. And Minister of Culture, Miss Babsy Grange, announced in Parliament yesterday that the panel that was set up to select the finalists just was unable to select, some songs. And of course, she chalked that up to the poor quality of the 123 entries. So there were 123 entries in there, and according to the panel constructed by Miss Grange, they could not find 5 or 6 finalists to represent from a festival vantage point. Now, I can play devil's advocate all day. I got up today to all kind of disparaging remarks on social media. Some remarks come from that of just overall just, man, damn disappointment. You know what I mean? And then of course you always have the purists and the those people who just bawl and scream and holler over everything because there's a sense of entitlement. When you read posts and comments and you listen to posts and comments, you could hear what's genuinely on certain things that is entitlement. Certain things that is entitlement. How dare you? You know what I mean? How dare you not call my phone and consult me in another country because of me, the one man or woman that, should be able to usher you in the right direction, Miss Grange, right? And again, I am disappointed, but I'm not behind the scenes. I don't know what's going on. It is kind of odd. It is kind of weird that you could get 123 submissions and not be able to come up with 5 or 6 what you deemed quality finalists. Especially, here's the especially for me, right? Last festival competition, we heard the things, the songs, and I made it clear. While I liked the songs, some of the songs, and I even spoke to some of the artists and participated in it, and I support the thing and promote, because I'm always going to do that regardless of what my opinion is. I wasn't thrilled with the songs. I kind of whack to me, but that's just G Cole. You know what I mean? Like I say all the time, I don't come up here and spit facts. I'll never state that I'm spitting facts. I'll tell you this is my opinion, right? Again, I got a microphone, so that's the only reason why you hear me. Everybody got an opinion. But here's the thing. Last time when the submissions came in, I thought they were, I didn't like them. Majority of them, and let me clarify. It's not that I didn't like them as songs. They just didn't sound like festival songs to me. And again, my clarification on that is this. When somebody says that a Christmas song is coming out, you expect certain sounds, right? Bells, chimes, certain little things that are in the sound of it that makes it a Christmas song. If I just say Merry Christmas and it up on a dancehall rhythm, or it don't have none of those sounds, then what it is pretty much is just a dancehall song that I'm talking about Christmas. But if I'm going to consider it a Christmas song, there's certain sounds that mentally you're expecting to hear, right? Gospel. That's why when sometimes people say reggae, gospel, them said this or they said that. There's certain songs to me that make the genre, that make a gospel song. And if I don't hear, it's not. It might be an inspirational song, it might be a spiritual song, it might be a song about God, but at the end of the day, to me, that is the consumer of the music. There's certain sounds that make certain things what they are, right? Julian said, out of over 100 songs, there weren't any of quality. Cool, no, man. Babsy, Julian want to talk to you. Julian would like to. Her name is Julian Lee. She's right here on Facebook. She want to talk to you. No. You understand? Because she's not buying it. One bit. She said that. Look, she say it. She see it there. She say it. She say it. You understand? So, but that's what they said, Julian. That's what they said, right? VJ said they should let the people pick the finalists. It's funny. Finalists to competitions are irrelevant nowadays to me. It doesn't matter what it is, because talent and expression and sheer skill set doesn't win anything anymore. We are in the era of the followers and your following and your support system and your fan base, right? So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good or not your work is. If your fan base is big enough, you are going to win. I.e., the last competition, who won? Obujo win? That song wasn't no festival song. To be perfectly honest with you, like I said, I think there may be one or two songs in the whole thing that I think I would gear toward festival song. Don't get me wrong, tune them bad. I would play them on radio now. I still do. Play them on the radio anytime, any season, anywhere. But don't ask if I'm creating a festival song playlist. That ain't it, right? That's not it. But yet still we had songs. So if the goal was to represent the occasion, our sisters rise to the occasion, you know what I mean? If we were going to represent the occasion and there was an importance, right? If there was an importance of making sure that the occasion is represented sonically, musically, or whatever the case may be, again, 123, and you can't find one, I'm just saying. 123, you couldn't find 5, 6, I'm just saying. David, I said, we the listener like Chico's opinion. May not agree with you, but enjoy hearing you present them. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. So, no, Vijay said, no, last year was a lady. Yeah, you're right. Last year was my bad. The year before that was Bujo. I think last year it was almost like college and the professionals and when it comes to the Olympics. You know, last year, people up on, well, why should we compete then if I be a superstar and other thing? Because if the superstars are in there, then we don't have a chance, which is true, right? So that I think last year had less of that in there and more just people trying to put their best shot at it. But you know, the year before, yeah, it was a bunch of, you know, big name, big profile artists, and the excuse at the time was that they want to bring relevance back to it and they want to bring attention to it. So I understand. I will say this while I'm on my soapbox, people. Jano, sometimes we come up here and we talk about the prime minister, we talk about the president, and they're all messing up big time. They suck at the job, right? Truth be told, they didn't get fired. You should be able to fire a prime minister. If pink slips were being given out, enough prime minister, enough president, currently too, would I get fired a long time? Not true. If the prime minister, if the leaders of the world were judged like the managers of Burger King, right? If the judge the leaders of the world as the people that at McDonald's, majority of these people would have got fired, right? So let's just call a spade what it is. But nonetheless, when you look at how things are to represent the country, represent the nation, get in tune with the diaspora, keep that national pride up on whatever the case may be, ball be dropping left, right, and center. Left, right, and center. So, like I said, I wouldn't want certain jobs. Because at the end of the day, we go by the results, right? It's the results that we judge by. So in any aspect, if the results are favorable, then guess what we say? That's why he's the man for the job. That's why we pay him the big bucks. That's why, you know what I mean? Don't count him out. You didn't understand what he was doing, but that's the level of his genius or her genius. That's what we say when the thing goes right. When the thing goes left, guess what we say? That jackass, you know, no sense, no one. I don't know what y'all saw in him, why y'all put him up there. He don't know what he's doing. He's been monkeying up the thing from day one till now. I don't know what's wrong with y'all people, right? So when it comes to being behind the scenes and doing these things, right, I honestly would want to be there. Because truth be told, what if they did have a bunch of sucky records? What if they had 123 records that were not up to par to represent on the big 60th stage? What if that really is true? Because don't we sit down every single day and complain about the quality of music? What we getting right about now? I do, right? Don't we complain about the quality of music, the music that people put out right now and say it's great music? Don't we say it sucks? Right? Whether it be from a lyrical standpoint, content standpoint, production standpoint, the mix, the sonics, whatever, we be complaining that stuff sucks, don't you? So what if, roll with me, devil's advocate, just roll with me. What if they all sucked? What if 120 of them sucked and it just would have been sad to put 3 alone out there? Right? What if? Just give me the what if. Give me the what if. What if they all sucked for real? Not good enough for the big stage. Now, is there any right that certain people can do once they're in a position that you expect from them to deliver, right? You expect people to give you the cake, right? You don't think about the flour mill. You don't think about the sugar plantation. You don't think about none of that. You don't think about the flavorings. You don't think about none of that. Just the bakeries to give me cake. But there's a problem going on at the flour mill. There's an issue going on at the sugar spot, right? There's an issue going on. There's no vanilla. Stuff I come and we can't get it, or the quality is inferior, or whatever the case may be. But nah, you want cake, right? So I'm just saying, we're always going to put those people on the chopping block. And this is where devil advocates swing again. And rightfully so, because they deserve to be on the chopping block. They mess up day in, day out, right? All they do is get paid, right? You know what I mean? All kind of things go wrong. Their check's still clear. No matter what, no matter how crappy the situation is, no matter how disappointed we are, no matter how much songs we don't get or whatever the case may be, they still get paid. The check still clears and we swing it right back around. But, Jono, it wouldn't be, is it fair for us to judge them the way we judge them? You know what I mean? Well, go on, J5, what's poppin'? Always good to see you. VJ said maybe Jano. What VJ say? Maybe the person listening to the music sucked. Right? Maybe the person listening to the music sucked. To be honest with you, if that's the same person that's been picking the ones for the last 2 years, you're probably on to something, VJ. You're probably on to something. You know what I mean? So the thing is, we're talking right now about no festival song competition coming in. Some of the people have spoke up and said they're very disappointed because a lot of people put their hard work in there. And again, this is Jamaica's 60th, right? It's a big thing. We're making a huge thing of it, and no 60th. And I think there's something that's just saying that what they're going to do actually is, and it was reported as, but their good news is, ain't it funny when somebody burn down the building and tells, but the good news is, you know what I mean? The plane crash. Oh my Lord, it's a travesty. But the good news is, the black box was found. You know what I mean? So she said that the good news is for the entrance, they're creating a compilation album, right? A compilation album, and for that compilation album, you're talking about big names. You talk about like the Shaggys of the world and the Marcia Griffiths of the world, and I'm sure a whole bunch of other big names. Those are the names they mentioned. I won't presume anything else, but the biggest of the names, right, are going to go on that compilation album. And then they said, but the good news for the entrants the good news for all 123 entrants are that 2 songs will be selected to go as part of the compilation. So if you have 123 songs that sucked so bad that you would not present them as festival songs for the season, but yet still you're going to take 2 of them and put on a compilation alongside the biggest names in reggae music to represent us on Jamaica 60 in the name of Ninja Man, something that's all right. This not right. Something don't sound right. Well, go on, Malachi Smith, what's going on? Good to see you. Good to see you. Right? So, you know, VJ said, Babsy. Babsy, listen to the thing? Oh, man. David, I said, Valerie, I wonder, maybe the people wouldn't have found their gem from the 123 songs. Truth be told, David, here's the deal. Unless a Roy Rayner did, or the late great Toots Hibbert, or some of the legends, I don't think it ever is going to sound and take us back to that feeling, that nostalgic, patriotic feeling of what it was to hear festival songs back in the day. I don't know, based on what I hear now, because we see the evolution of dancehall and reggae music, and I'm cool with that. Festival songs can't evolve. You're not supposed to evolve. No. That's what made it the festival competition, right? That's like your garb, your festival garb and everything evolve. No. Same colors, more want to see. The flag can't evolve. No. Same colors, more want to see. Certain things remain the same. They remain true. And that's the total essence of what it is, right? So the evolution of the festival competition, when you hear songs sounding a certain way right now, me personally, I ain't with it. It's just me. They are just me. Not feeling it. But again, just me, right? So having a conversation today, and a part of this conversation is going down the lines of how much of this is really set up. And again, I don't blame nobody, you know. David said there should be some slight evolution. In the festival sound, no, David. Me personally, let me say me. I hear you, and I'm sure you're not the only person that shares that sentiment. My gripe with evolution when it comes to those pretty much is this: what it stands for, right? Tinga to large up Tinga. What it stands for is like next thing we're gonna hear trap festival song. We evolved too much. If the essence of it is to bring us back to that era of independence and the feeling of that festival by vibration and the back in the day when we just came into independence and there was that love and that energy in the air, and you know a lot of things were brand spanking new in terms of reggae music and what the festivals meant to us, right? If that be the case, it can't evolve because we're not gonna feel that way again. And we're gonna sit down in our living rooms, our gripe and our complain and say that's not what it is, and we've lost what it is. Well, and the truth is, it's just evolution. In evolution, you're gonna lose something. Right? You're gonna lose something. Now again, I'm just thinking out loud. If you got 123 songs and them 123 songs all suck that bad that you couldn't come up with none of them for put out as contenders for the festival song competition, even in light of the circumstance right now and the atmosphere and just the 60th and the time, if we couldn't come up with nothing, but yet still, let's call them trash, right? Because that means you're saying that they're trash. If you couldn't find, I'm going to use these words, and the views expressed by G. Cole does not represent those of Jamaicans.com or anybody. I'm going rogue. All right? So, let's call them trash. And this is no indictment. There's no indictment on the artists or producers or stuff like that. Just me going rogue here, all right? So if they have 123 and you couldn't find 5 or 6 out of the 123, then let's call them trash. Let's just call them trash. So you have 123 trash songs. Delete file. You hit the delete file on your computer because these are garbage, right? But yet still you decide to put out a compilation with your biggest and best and of course legendary stuff because they're on the big and a skilly bang up on it, right? The biggest and the best on our legendary sound. So we're staying true to that. Them Carl Tooney and Marcia Griffiths and Shaggy, right? If I was to assume and presume or whatever the case may be a little presumptuous, I'd probably think like a Barris might dip on it too. Gargamel might dip on it. Something like that. You know what I mean? Since we looking for our biggest, our brightest, and our best. Not true. Tessan, that caliber stuff. But yes, still you gotta tell me, say, you're going to take 2 out of the trash files, 2 out of the trash bin, 2 out of the trash can, and put it on that compilation, and put it out. Ninja Man says, something that's all right here. Something that it smells salmon, smell mackerel, it smells fishy. You know what I mean? Fishy. Julian Lee said, if 2 songs are going to go on a compilation album, that means there were at least 2 songs good enough to have a competition, a small competition, but a competition nonetheless, right? That's what Julian Lee said. Babsy, Julian would like to have a word. She's on Facebook as Julian Lee, all right? Talk to her. All right, David says, same meaning and essence, but allowance for how the times have changed. Losing and or shifting isn't all negative. I feel you, David, and I can't necessarily disagree with your sentiment. I just have a different sentiment. You know what I'm saying? Just when it comes to that, it's just there's certain things that I don't want touched. You know, it's almost like when, and again, it's just a personal thing. It's almost like when we spoke about, certain colors on the buildings and whatever the case may be. When we talk about Jamaica, we want the evolution. But when I go to Ocho Rios right now, it's not the same for me because I feel like I'm in Miami. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. We need the development and we need commerce and we need infrastructure and all that. But I don't want to feel like I'm in Miami when I'm in Jamaica, when I'm in Ocho Rios. I want to say Miami, not just the South Beach part of Miami. I'm talking about downtown Miami sometimes. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where it kind of loses feel, essence, and sentiment for me. Laura says, what it stands for, that part speaks volumes, G. You see it? Laura says, I love you, Even if I misquote you, I love you. I tell people that you did mean, even if I know that you mean. But, VJ is with me. Something wrong, something not right. Julian says, sounds like they didn't want to spend time and energy to deal with the competition because they just want to have big names for the 60th year celebration. Nothing wrong with that. Just say there will not be a competition this year. Babsy, Julian would like to have a word. All right? She would like to have a word. Know what I mean? Sharon said, the state of reggae gone to the dogs. No emotions in the songwriter's pencil. All it is hype. True, true, true. But here's the deal, too. It is all hype. But I can't honestly say that the emotion 919 is just that they are emoting what they're going through and what they're feeling, and it's unfortunately not a good thing. If reggae music is the music that reflects the people, because again, remember, we're coming from the era of reggae music where it's rebellious music, and it was depicting what was going on. But if the society at large is getting worse and the things at large are getting worse, the representation's going to be worse. It's no different from the newspapers. When we pick up the newspapers and we see all kind of negativity on it and places getting shot up and whatever the case may be, it's because places are getting shot up and stuff like that. So they might reflect what go on. Large up Sharon, thank you so much for joining the party. Teresa, how are you? But it not sound right. And personally, if somebody know Babsy, tell her for comment, because you know me, I'm very diplomatic. I'm never going to put, I mean, I just want to have a convo, man. I just want to have a convo. It's all fishy, right? My feeling once I heard it pretty much was I don't think there was any interest at any point in time. Let me rephrase that. Let me retract that statement. I shouldn't say in any point in time, but I think that along the way, decisions were made long before we got to this point. Decisions were made that they wanted to go in another route, and they did what they do. The powers that be do. They do whatever they want to do, however they want to do it, and people's feelings get hurt along the way. But the unfortunate thing is that it's not just the feelings of 123 artists alongside their production team and musicians and whatever that got hurt. The whole nation, the diaspora, and everybody are complaining. Everybody. And when I say complain, I mean we're feeling it. You know what I mean? Is it David? Is it you? David said, "Did you did you enter a song?" No, no, and I would never, because just like when I come on here, I say to people all the time, I'm not a DJ. When people send me drops or they send me things, they say DJ because, from the vantage point of what an on-air DJ is, the person behind the microphone, they consider a DJ. But I consider a DJ, with all due respect to all the DJs, people who do the mixing and all that thing. And G. Cole can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, selector, I can't do them thing that, right? So I'll never tell anybody I'm a DJ. Same thing when it comes to creating festival songs. Just like the artists that, when I was talking about when the Buju them and everybody were in there, none of them songs sounded like festival songs. I personally feel that you have reggae artists, you have gospel artists, you have dancehall artists, you have this artist, you have that artist, you have festival artists too. Not to say that they can't do other genres, but not everybody could do every genre. All right? So festival artists might be able to do something else, but then everybody can do festival songs. G. Cole cannot do festival songs, right? I just don't think I can. Can I construct the lyrics? Yes, but it needs a certain delivery that I would probably want somebody with a little bit more cultural soul, swag to deliver. You know what I mean? Not everybody's capable. And out of respect for the greats, I wouldn't feel good. But then again, who knows? If a producer come with something right and the rhythm sound festival, because that's the other thing to me is that you can't give me a regular rhythm, a regular reggae rhythm, or dancehall rhythm and say it's a festival tune, we must write on it. It's not going to connect. You know what I mean? You can't give me hot, sexy love rhythm and say I must write festival song. No, it's not going to work. I'm going to write turn up song. Right? David said, I hear you, G. Them never do the thing. Needed more time and promotion to garner the interest. Needed thing gone wrong already. It's true. But the funny thing, David, is this, a lot of times my response to things is not to, I very seldom respond to the action. I oftentimes respond to the responses to the action. Right? So what they opt to do, I know the political setup and the nature of things. So to be honest with you, whatever somebody steps in front of, if somebody, and I said this, take it or they don't want to take it. If your title, your job, any way, shape, or form is politician, I am taking everything you say with a grain of salt. Right? Because it takes a certain mindset. And I have friends and family members that are in politics or have aspirations to be in politics. And I've said it, no apology. I would. It's not one of them. It's not one of those fields and avenues that I'd be proud to say. Oh, my son is in politics or my daughter is in politics. No, I would not. It's not a noble avenue for me, and the reason why I don't see it as a noble avenue is because everything is contrived, and it's almost like the rules of engagement is the truth is not important. The narrative is, right? Controlling the narrative, steering it, leading the people how it's supposed to go is what's important, but the truth is not. And sometimes I think that people mislead and they spread mistruth unnecessarily. It's like a kleptomaniac that steals but does not need to steal. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my vantage point on it. So I think the whole turning things and twisting things and spinning things and, you know what I mean? I believe in you, G. Let's get one in there for the 70th. You know what, David? Send me a festival already, man. I never know. You don't know. I won't let you down. I won't let you down. All right? But I'm gonna have to put on certain garbs and get myself in the right frame of mind and boom, you know what I mean? And you know it go. You know it go, VJ, don't pressure me. I see you going with the 61st, you know. No. But all in all, it's a disappointment, and it's such a disappointment that every angle and avenue that I've gone down today, everybody I've spoken to has eared their tone of disappointment regarding this whole festival song situation. And I'm not, and honestly, I understand. I'm not mad at any of these people. What I'm mad at you for is really getting frustrated, because you can tell that some people are genuinely frustrated. And my thing pretty much is, again, this is something that's in the hands of the government, whether it be directed from the top down or just particular branches, which sometimes we don't even know if they hand on the foot them attack when it comes to that. But at the end of the day, they do what they want to do. You think that them putting this out right now is just no, they came to the decision to do all of this, but yet still you have already decided you're putting out an album, right? It's part of a compilation album. So obviously that's in the works, right? Because you're not drawing random songs from these artists. They're actually probably creating songs for these. So you reach out to them, touch base with them, communicate with them from the long time ago, right? Long time ago. I will say this. I feel terrible for the artists. Some people say, but not everybody would have made it to the final. That's so true. But they would have had a shot. And they would be able to say, you know what? I tried to do something to represent the nation, and it just never, you know what I mean? But the whole concept of I'm going to take two people. Here's the problem about the two people. There's so much mistrust, and there's so much wrongs and flaws and ills and schemes that even the two people that they choose might not necessarily be the two best ones. It might be two people with the connections. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Two people with the connections. One of the big names that you have on it say, boy, yeah, man, get that one there. Right? Or one of the people them who have an affiliation, a family member, whatever, blah, 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 blah. The next thing you trace it back is that somebody, auntie, uncle, nephew, niece, come name Babsy. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I think as artists, as musicians, you know, you do get your heart broken a lot. But, you know, this was a little crude. It's a little crude. And the floor is open for whomever, right? Lorraine say, I'm shocked to hear that Jamaica's not festival songs, really. Yeah. It's, you know, it is what it is. What we gonna do? What we gonna do? As a matter of fact, Arlene S., how you doing? VJ said, totally disrespectful. Well, go on, Jeremy George. Always great to see you. You know something? I want to get an opinion, and I want to get an opinion on this festival thing, you know. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to tune and we're going to figure out what I'm going on. So, we got you, man. We got you, ladies and gentlemen. This one is Jai's Real. J. Will and the Raps and Kush Band. The album is called Love Your Life. Yeah. Big tune, big album, big artist. Got a call on the line right now who, you know, we call him the musical encyclopedia, and we always dive in and have conversations with this gentleman right here, this brother, when we need to get in and have some rational reasonings, you know? But not just about the culture and the music, but just a conversation in general, because sometimes we need, you know, like minds to dive in. So I want to introduce you to, from Real Rockers, Mr. Marlon Burrell. Marlon Wagwan, you can hear me?
Yes, Chico, big up yourself. Blessed love.
Give thanks, man. First of all, thank you so much for taking time out. I appreciate it, all right?
You got it, brother.
So here's the thing. I'm gonna get right into the first thing here. We saw where Minister Babsy Grange announced that they're not going to be having any of the festival songs, the festival competition this year, right?
Right, right.
And a lot of people, well, go on, Robert, large up. And a lot of people have been up in arms about it. I wouldn't say I am, to be perfectly honest with you, because, I mean, it is what it is, right? But the part
Right.
of it that's got me feeling that the part of it that's very salmon, very mackerel, very fishy to me is you got 123 songs. You could not find 5 or 6 good enough to present to the world, to the diaspora, to the nation as festival songs for this year. So what's going to happen instead is that you're going to release a compilation with big name artists like Shaggy and Marsha Griffiths and more. Those are just the 2 names that were mentioned. And on top of that, just to, appease the masses, the verbiage used is pretty much, but don't be disappointed. Don't be disappointed, because 2 good news is that 2 of the entrants will be selected to be able to go on the compilation album. Now, remember, these are the same ones that not good enough. I mean, I call them, and again, no disrespect, no indictment, but if that's what they're doing, that's what they're doing. Let's call it the trash pile. You got 123 trash songs. So they're not good enough to represent, but yet still you're going to take 2 of them and put them on a compilation with our biggest, brightest stars and legends. Talk to me a little bit about your sentiment regarding the whole thing.
Okay. There are a couple of points there to be made.
Mm-hmm.
Now, first of all, with regards to not having the festival competition this year,
Mm-hmm.
I just call it what it is. I think we've come to the end of the road. The writing's been on the wall for the past 20 years,
Yep.
since the turn of the century. I mean, I can name you every festival winner up into the 90s.
Right.
Anything after that, I don't ask me.
It's not the
Honestly,
same. Not the same.
honestly. So I think the writing's been on the wall there for a while. For it to happen this year, the 60th, yeah, that one, the timing is kind of questionable there.
Right.
That's one. So, I just think we're at the point now where it doesn't have the impact that it had in the 70s, the 80s, and even into the 90s.
True.
And we don't remember those songs anymore. When it comes to that time of year, what do we play? The classics from the 60s, the 70s, the Desmond Deckers
Yep.
and the Toots and the
Yep.
Eric Donaldsons. That's what we play every year.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think we're kidding ourselves anymore.
Right.
I mean, we've been trying to resuscitate this thing for 20 years and it hasn't happened. So sometimes you got to know when to say when,
Right.
really.
Right.
And I think to do it this year, though, for the 60th celebration, But, however, if you have 123 songs and you can't find a handful of them, honestly,
Something all right.
we would have to just trust the experts there. I don't know. Personally, I would like to hear what was rejected. I mean, to sit through 123 songs and to tell you, and I probably get that many songs per week in my email.
True.
And truthfully, I can't play all of them that I would want to play.
Right.
Because I get more songs than what airtime allows.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do get a lot of trash, and I probably do get more trash than substance.
Yep.
But the truth is, if I'm searching for a needle in a haystack, in that case, I will find a needle or 3 in there.
Yeah.
So I find it hard to believe that there's a handful of songs out of 123 that isn't good enough. And my guess is that they're using the same producers that they've been using annually, like, the well-established and respected, like the Grub Coopers of the world and so forth.
Right.
So yeah, I find that hard to swallow.
Right. Someone.
Even though I have utmost respect for Honorable Babsy Grange, I do.
Mm-hmm.
But I just find that out of 123 songs, can't find a handful. Yeah, that's hard to swallow for me. The other part of the conversation now, the compilation. I don't know what that's supposed to do, really.
Sell.
I guess.
So the diaspora at large and the nation, because again, music don't sell like that, so you can't sell it to the world, as well as our cultural stuff like that, our folk stuff like that. You're not really target the international audience with that because that's not their thing. They don't understand it. So at the end of the day, sell whatever the powers and the business. And again, you said something that I want to echo the sentiment of. I've never met Minister Babsy Grange. I have respect for her based on what she has done. Everybody in the world that has given me no reason to not respect them will get the respect and we'll work our way down, right?
Right.
Now, as far as, like I said earlier, people who are involved in politics and political agendas, to me, right off the bat, walk around with the salmon cologne. Everything is fishy, right? As a matter of fact, you get up in the morning and tell me, good morning, that me a question. I'm like, I wonder if a night. I wonder if a night. I go down evening, I may never realize. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. So that being said, I agree with you in every aspect. One, the whole trying to resuscitate and give a lifeline to the festival competition. The era, unfortunately, is not just the era of music that has passed, because I don't think the era of music can pass because the genre is the genre. It's just like if you make a ska song in 2022, it's still gonna sound like a ska song. It might not have the feel of 1960, but it's gonna sound like a ska song. But
that's right.
The era is not the only thing that has passed. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I think the appreciation is what has passed. Because if everybody from your grandma, great grandma, all the way down to about us can appreciate it. Everybody thereafter, I don't know. My kid is 22 and she loves music, love reggae. She knows jack about the festival culture. And Marcus never grew up in Jamaica, you know what I mean? But it's just that part of it has gone. But the real deal is that when you see the metrics, sometimes I bet you don't put the metrics out there because that's when things get questioned. But when you say 123 songs, especially when a couple of years ago we had a competition full of big name stars and none of them sang them to sound like festival song, right? So and again, yes, trash music is being made, and I'll tell you this: not only is trash music being made, but it is being shared. Because when people make good music, sometimes I feel like they're hesitant to hit send. But when they make garbage, mass emails, right? I go out for it. So it's a lot of trash coming out. I agree with that. But I mean, compilations though, 2 artists though. So if the 123 is all garbage, where are we getting the 2 from?
Well, my understanding is not that they will pick 2 of the 123 songs. They'll pick 2 artists and maybe have, somebody of a reputable, somebody who's reputable in the industry, maybe write or produce or whatever.
The article,
but I don't know if I didn't get the understanding that they would select 2 of the 123 songs. That's not good enough.
Well, the article was in the Jamaica Star, and it says, Minister Grange said that the opportunity will be used to produce a Jamaica 60 commemorated album, right? Again, John, if we can get one of my tune pan a good guy sound like a hustle. The good news for the entrance, right, which is pretty much those 123 submittals. The good news for the entrance is that 2 songs that were selected from the entries.
Okay.
Will be part of the compilation.
Maybe I read it too fast.
So what it sounds to me pretty much is this. Said this is going to create an uproar. You already smell the rat. Say it'll go foul, it'll go left, and whatever the case may be, which, to be honest with you, is when the killer come to kill the killer, don't business if you're vexing them, but it's just, let's just do it the right way, right? So let's pacify the masses right about now, but we put 2 on the thing, right? So at least 121 people going to be mad, but whomever those 2 are, they're going to be like, well, let me get a bus and an opportunity. The only thing is, I wonder what the last names are the 2 people then. Anne-Marie Grange. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Right. But if I may play, I see where you're going with that. Valid point. Valid point. But if I may play devil's advocate here, suppose they've identified 4 or 5 songs that are good enough, but you would need like a top 10, let's say, for a festival. Maybe they could select 2 out of the maybe 4 or 5, 6 or whatever they thought was okay. Just playing devil's advocate. So that could be a possibility.
Could be. You know what? You're absolutely right. And I'm going to be the advocate of the devil's advocate. So you want to know, right? So if we can find the 2, and if we are going on that road, say, boy, maybe. Here's the thing. If you can find 2, that's good enough. Or like you said, 4, that's good enough, but not enough to put 10 together. All you really got to do is find the best 10, knowing good and well, say, them the one that not going to make it anyway. It's just like the Grammys, right? When you have the Grammy submittals, when they select them 6, you've heard some things in there, and I was like, okay, so that and that and that and that's we go. It's just room. We just need six albums up here. So, it just reeks off there was ulterior motive. And I honestly feel that at inception, that was the plan. I feel that during the course of this and the developmental process and between then and now, the plans changed. But because the plans changed along the way, you can't just tell 123 people, because remember, it's not just 123 people, no, 123 people plus management, right? And if everybody have a one manager, right? So double the number, right? That's all. At 246, right? And then let's say every person now they have a producer. Yeah, double.
I was gonna say, remember that's usual. The producers and songwriters are usually part, because you usually have songwriters who have a song and then they find an artist to sing it.
Yep.
That's typically how the festival process goes.
And most of the songs that are done for festival are live. So in other words, now you have to bring in 5 or 6 musicians, right?
Yes.
Which not working for free. So somebody paid money between studio time, producer time, musician time, mix mastering. Forget that song they done. Forget 123 entities. And I'm going to say entities because right now we don't reach 1,000 people when you include the musicians. But 123 entities spent money to create some music. And then along the way, something went, not wrong, something went left. Because I ain't accusing people of doing anything wrong. I'm going to say it went left. David Imir says, so when the producers are in the studio, they are putting out trash intentionally. None or 3 of the producers can produce a good track for the occasion. John or David, what you say? You want to talk to her? I don't know. I don't have Babsy number.
Good question. And my curiosity got the best of me also, because I was wondering, who are the panelists who decides, and what are their roles and qualifications in the music industry?
Right.
To say that these aren't good enough, or these are the best, or how the process goes. I'm curious about that as well.
That's a wonderful question. The festival thing has been going on for a hot minute, and just like. You saw Charlie's Angel and there was Charlie's voice in the box, but nobody never saw Charlie yet. Over all these years, nobody has identified who that panel is right now. So the panel might be walking amongst you in the grocery store. The panel is
true.
And just a blending. The panel and brother have a song in the way I denied click. So we don't know who the panel is. Never knew the mystery panel. The mystery panel could be one person. I mean, not calling him.
And you know what? And as you alluded to, what makes people suspicious is the fact that a government official is involved, and it is, let's just say, it's politics.
Yeah,
literally.
And you say sad. You know what is crazy when it comes to these things is that the credibility is so shot when it comes to the fact that it's a government involved situation. If it were
that alone makes it suspicious.
And this sounds very wrong, me saying this, but there'd be more credibility in this if it was being done by the scammers. Anyways, I pull that back. I retract that statement. We'll edit that out. Let me ask you a question, separate and apart from all that now, right? I was having a convo with somebody recently, about catalogs, right?
Mhm.
And it came up because over the years we've heard of these little situations where a one major artist will sell their catalog, whether it be the Beatles, whether it be Michael Jackson or whomever, right?
Right, right.
For a huge amount of money. And then now recently we said John Legend sold his. Justin Timberlake just sold his catalog for $100 million, right? And the conversation we were now converting it now to reggae and so forth on our reggae catalogs because we talk about catalogs a lot. Boy Berry's
Hmm.
catalog supposed to sexy, D Brown catalog, Bob's catalog. No, my argument was this: Jano, would I sell my catalog tomorrow for the right offer? If I own the catalog of Bob Marley, if I own the catalog of Berries, if I own whatever the catalog, and somebody offer me, it's reggae, so I'm not gonna offer you $100 million. But if somebody offered me a certain amount of money, I'm selling it tomorrow, based on the
Hmm.
fact that you hold on to stuff because you think the value increases along the way, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Now, in this day and age, music gets devalued on a daily.
It
So,
does.
so your catalog that you have that somebody offers you $1 million for it right now, just throwing arbitrary numbers out there. Somebody offers you $1 million for that catalog right now, and you say, "No, me, I hold on to it, because for my kids, I'm a legacy, I'm a this and that, and in 20 years we can revisit this when it worth $10 million." But then again, based on how things going right about now, in 10 years it's going to be worth about 90 grand, right? So
Hmm.
my thing is this: how do you feel about, and forget the R&B hip hop pop world, when it comes to reggae artists and their catalogs, if offers are being made, do you think they should field and listen to those offers? If, and I'll throw this conjunction in there, if at all these folks do own the catalog.
I would say yes. It's something I've thought about, and in all honesty, over the years, I've always said if I had the money, I would purchase some of these catalogs and try to market them
Right. So,
to
so
get
you'd
the
be buying it to sell it back, pretty much.
yeah to do something with it, really, to
Right, right,
to put it in the market and maybe
right,
get it to people who love and appreciate it.
right, right.
And there are companies who own catalogs of
Mm-hmm.
reggae, such as Trojan, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Greensleeves is another,
Mm-hmm.
which is now a VP subsidiary.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think those are among the strongest reggae catalogs out there.
Right.
Are catalogs of Jamaican music. For individual artists, there are some because there are companies that market Jamaican music.
Right.
There are several European companies who do very well doing so, and not to mention those in Japan.
Right. Right. Right.
So there are markets, and it can be done if you know your markets.
Now, catalog wise, because somebody asked me if I had access to which catalog would I take it, Bob Marley, D Brown, whatever the case may be. And my answer is I would take, if you're given the catalogs, I would take the Bob Marley catalog. But I would take Bob Marley catalog for the value of it, and then I would sell it, and I would go buy the D Brown catalog, have some money left over, but then I'd own the D Brown for my pleasure. You know what I mean? So from a catalog standpoint, if I was giving you access to any reggae catalog right about now, say, something, I'm gonna gift you this catalog, Marlon. Whose catalog would it be?
It has to be Marley, just for the sheer fact that for value,
For value, straight up.
in terms of straight value, and I mean, who's the biggest selling reggae artist right now today for the past 30, 40 years?
Yep. The late, the late Robert Nesta Marley.
Who's number one on the Billboard reggae chart right now?
The late, the late.
Someone who passed away 42 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. So for me, it's one of them things where I think I'm thinking in terms of these reggae artists right about now, those who are in ownership of their catalogs, and there are many people out there who, it's not that they don't own their catalogs, they don't have the paperwork, and they don't know if they own their catalogs. I think I implore them to go ahead and find out if they do own the catalog, and how to get ownership of it. Because a lot of times it's out there and people have ownership of it. It's just not legal ownership of it because you never had your legal ownership of it. So go ahead and do what you've got to do to get it. But these catalogs, again, reggae is not necessarily going to draw what most of the other genres will. But I'm just saying, I think at this point in time, if for no other reason, estates, and for some of these artists who may, when they pass away, be in dire straits, I think right now is the time, if none, to gather your catalog and sell your catalog. I don't believe in
I think
holding on to none.
I think so. At this stage, especially artists who have put in 30 and 40 years already. We have some artists who are over 60 years in the industry.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've amassed some things over because I think about a lot of artists right now. Barry's catalog's supposed to be a sexy one too.
Yeah.
Barry's catalog, Dennis Brown catalog,
No
Barton
doubt.
Levy's catalog. You know what I mean?
No
Gregory
doubt.
catalog. But again,
but here's the issue also with that is that a lot of these artists are recorded for independent producers who own their masters.
Right.
So they would have to, buy individual songs and albums from particular producers or production houses.
Yeah.
If those entities are willing to sell.
Yeah. And again, the research needs to be done because truthfully, a lot of those entities that we speak of do not legally own them. It's just
that is something that many have discovered.
Yeah, they don't legally own them. It's just that the artists themselves are not in the know and they don't have the ownership documents or whatever for these. So you can be convinced that somebody, if you don't have the title for your house, it's easy for somebody to tell you that they own it.
Correct.
But you could just stay here until I say so. You're
right.
I mean?
Correct. Because some of the producers back in the days, they went and sold their work and got a lump sum payment.
Yeah. But that's where we're at, man.
And I'm told that, a lot of the producers who were licensing their music to overseas entities, what they were doing were they weren't necessarily reading their contracts.
No.
And there was one word that was put into by a particular company in Europe. When a producer thinks they're signing a distribution deal, there's a word in there that says in perpetuity.
Yep.
So this is not an agreement that can be renewed in a year or 2 years.
This is forever.
We own it.
Yep. But you know what though? There are some people who were taken advantage of.
Yes.
And to be honest with you, there are some people who gave up stuff.
Yeah.
So and when people give up stuff, sometimes we say they're silly and they're this and they're that. But the truth of the matter is this: sometimes you don't know the value of it. Again, if my catalog is worth $1 million right about now, I might take the $1 million for it, and then in 10 years it might be worth 20 million, and somebody's gonna look at me and be like, "You're such an idiot.
You're such a fool."
Right. But the truth is, there are other measures that were implemented to make the value of that catalog go up to $1 million. And had I remained ownership of it, there's no telling that it would.
Correct. You hit the nail on the head. That's exactly how it goes.
You know what I mean? But
it has to be in the right hands.
Yeah.
And I'm told a particular story about one famous Jamaican production house, one of the legendary ones. I was told that in the 90s, Sony offered them $50 million for their catalog.
Right.
And they said, well, if Sony is willing to pay me $50 million, how much is it really worth?
Right.
So the deal was never done.
Right. But they never went and tried to get $51 million for it elsewhere. I'm just saying.
Good point.
Jano Star, Marlon. Jano. I'm telling you, I'll sell. Reach out to me. I'm selling. I need some Yeezys.
Hey, if I ever come up with the capital, brother, I'll give you a call, no doubt.
My brother, as always, give thanks for the time, give thanks for the vibe, give thanks for the energy. And we gotta get in here one of these days, man, and chop it up.
Yeah, man, definitely. Just give me a heads up. Once you give me a good enough heads up, I can make that happen.
My brother. Let's give thanks and stay safe out there, all right?
All right. One love, brother.
Blessings. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Marlon Burrell, Real Rockers. As always, is our vibes. This one right here is a requested one. It is When I. It's yours truly, G. Cole and the Raps and Kush Band. From the album Ocho Rios. What I'm feeling, man. Jah never let I down. Again, the convo continues, man. When I say the convo continues, the convo continues. We're going to get on the line right about now, Mr. Sean Garrity from The Sean Show. Sir Garrity, what going? You can hear me?
Yeah, man. Yeah, loud and clear. Can you?
Yeah, man. HD, I think turn up HD.
All right.
Yo, question for you. Write in, because I just talked to Marlon and the festival situation, right?
Okay.
I don't know if you've dived into it, but if you glance on social media once today, you see all kind of people mad, right? And
Yeah.
rightfully so. So my take, I'm gonna give you my take, you give me yours, right?
Mm-hmm.
120 in a nutshell, 123 songs submitted, right?
Right.
Not one that well, I guess normally the final entrants are the final nominees are probably between 10 and 6, and 10 to boil down to 6, boil down to, but it's the top 6, and then it boils down to whomever the winner is. So we got 123 songs, of which they said couldn't find 6, they were all poor quality, right? So so the thing cancel. But but here's the conjunction now. But don't worry about it. We didn't just cancel this. No. What we're going to do instead is we're going to put together a compilation album, right? And the compilation album will be will include it'll consist of people like Shaggy and people like Marcia Griffiths and other big name artists and whatever. And hey, don't be upset. At least 2 of the contestants from the trash pile, same songs that are trash that we couldn't put out with the competition. We're going to take 2 of them and we'll put on this compilation, right? So to me, its own salmon, its own sardine, its own mackerel, its own very fishy, right? But that's just me. So like us going over with Marlon, as far as the concept of the festival songs from however long, the appreciation for the festival songs and even the content has been going down for years. But at the end of the day, this is the 60th. So if the intention was to do that, then, some say it could have been done. Talk to me a little bit about your take on the whole thing.
All right. You see, I think that what needs to happen in Jamaica especially is the powers that be need to let go.
Of what?
And of their stronghold. Babsy has been in this thing for years. Too long. And we don't hear of her apprentice or right-hand person. I've been an adult in America for a while, and I watch how politics run. They always have somebody. They have some people at certain levels in there for life, right? Certainly the senators, but certainly the real decision makers. They get changed out very regularly, or they're in there for a certain period. But during that period, they have somebody a little bit younger than them, 10 years younger than them, right behind them to come through and take over when them come out of the position. So really, what I'm saying is, I feel like they have an idea as to what festival is supposed to be, quote unquote. And when the new people them come in now to express their art, how them express it, because the festival company is supposed to be how you see Jamaica, how you can represent Jamaica. And you're telling me that none of these songs, none of these people said, I love Jamaica because of the wood and water, because of the wonderful beaches, because of this, because of that, or it was the style of how they presented themselves, right? And I would feel that even in such a competition, once you choose the people who you want to go forward based on the content of their lyrics, you kind of have to guide them along to fix up them lyrics, fix up them presentation, right? Because these people are, some of them are amateurs, some of them have been in the business before, right? Like last year before. But the thing is, you cannot just dismiss it. Might as well G Cole just enter it every year from now on and make us see every problem, yeah?
Well, first of all, I'm gonna hit something you said earlier. You're saying that, how our situation set up and our government set up is you have one person the thing forever, and it's almost like if you want to get him out, you have to go kill him. But the thing is this, and here everything has a tenure. The replacement is being groomed, and that way it leads and it allows for fresh minds and stuff like that. And which, to be perfectly honest with you, my vibe is always that the puppeteering never ends. It's just the puppet that changes, right? So, but that's just me. But what you are saying is it goes against the grain of corruption, and that's not what we're about, Sean. You understand what I'm saying? so first of all, we're gonna ask you to clean that up, because if you do it that way, it makes it difficult to be corrupt, and that's not what we're doing here. So trash for that. No. As far as the music go itself, I agree. But the thing is, here's the thing, I'm almost sure that when you're entering the festival competition, you are given the rules and the guidelines, right? And
Uh-huh.
and also the producers, everybody, because remember, even the years when we got music that wasn't up to par as far as we're concerned, it wasn't because of the content. Every single last one of them spoke of Jamaica and their affinity for Jamaica and highlighted the nation because that's what the festival competition is. So I'm sure when they decide to enter, they're educated on what it's supposed to be. The reason why we always complain about it is that, again, the sonics is normally what has strayed in terms of, we know what we have in our mind of what a festival song sounds like, and it just never sounds like that. Just like I mentioned earlier, if the Christmas song come out and then I have the bells sound in it and a couple of certain sounds in it, it's not a Christmas song. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of a little bit of the issue with the festival song. But the whole concept of 123 songs, even if they never gave out any rules on whatever the case may be, people seek out certain producers for create festival songs and all kind of thing. The producers them would know, so boy, we do this and we do that. And it's not even so much as to how much the songs are, the quality of the songs in terms of being festival songs. They just spoke on the quality of the songs, period. 123 songs that were, the word was, we're unable to do it owing to the poor quality of the 123 entries. Now, again, we remember, 123 trash, because if I'm going to call it trash, again, I'm apologizing to the artist because I don't mean it literally. I just mean that's their,
Right.
If them see it as trash, then how you going to take two out of the trash pile and put it on a compilation album with the greats like Marcia Griffiths and Shaggy and whoever, buries them or whoever else you going to put on it, right? But yet still you're willing to dig into the trash pile. That sounds to me like you're trying to pacify the situation and say, yo, some people vexing them, but guess what? Let's throw them to your opponents and then they're going to say nothing.
Well, that speaks again. That could easily be interpreted as corruption again, because now,
The C word.
as you said, you have 123 and you don't have a competition because you can't find any. So, for example, in track and field, because that's the sport I follow, you have the Diamond League series going on, right? Now, it's not every day you're going to find a race with the Olympic champions, 2, 3, 4 Olympic champions in one race, and a world champion, and a this champion and that champion in one race, right? You might find 3 of them in there, and then you need 5 more lanes. So you sprinkle it in with some other people who come from the country, who have a decent representation, but come here, so, and they have 8 people in the race, right? So what is wrong with them doing that, where if the 2 good enough to go up on the compilation, I think you were discussing earlier, why don't us invite them and go through the process, and they have these 6 this are the next 6 of the foolishness. And you know, say have you 2 already, figure out what you want to win already. But and push it away there and let John Public figure it out.
Well,
Let John Public tell you no.
but does John Public really have a say? Because here's the thing is another thing to me, especially now, is that when it comes to any form of competitions and anything like that, talent is not what's winning anymore, It's popularity. So that's why, because remember, it's when Buju and all of them went into the competition, people weren't upset because the big Gargamel in the competition or this artist or that artist in the competition. They weren't upset about that because, yes, it brings highlight and bring eyes to the thing that were not on it, in past times. But the problem that people had with it is that these people have massive following. So it doesn't make it a fair platform. So at the end of the day, who's voting on this? Like we were saying earlier, for all these years, we've had a mystery panel, right? A mystery panel of Charlies in the box that are vote on these things that don't have no name, no fingerprints, the men in black. Nobody's ever known who are the people them who really say, boy, these songs are trash. So talk to me. Who I say the song them are trash? We need to know.
Well, again, like I said, that speaks to the level of non-transparency. Some people call it corruption, right?
C word.
And I now really, because I don't live in Jamaica and I don't know what's going on, right? But on appearances, that's what somebody might infer that's going on. Because again, I used to run track in the NCAA system. What they would do every year is have the top 21 kids compete for the national championship. Then, based on how those 21 did in 1990, come 1991, they would adjust the standards for qualification.
Right.
And they keep going along. So you're telling me that you have 123 people in Jamaica who entered this competition, who paid their $1,000, that's going to be refunded.
Right.
And you're telling me you could just pick the 10 out of that and go from there.
Especially if you already know that, because if the two that you're speaking of right now that's good enough to go on this album, you don't know so them two they're gonna win anyway. Just fill up another 8.
But and again, no. Even if it's a popularity thing, allow these people into the competition and challenge them to become popular.
All of that.
Because I think I remember a couple of years ago, I think it was Romeo and Virgo. I didn't realize that he had to go out on the road and get people to do certain things or do certain things in the communities. And he had a camera following him doing it. I think it was Romeo and Virgo, right? And so that builds your presence in community.
Right.
You know, so everybody just wants to become, but nobody wants to do the process. And I think when you remove them from that competition and you don't challenge them in a process, then they themselves will not grow as artists or entertainers or whatever it is they want to do in the space. Right. Because you don't give them the platform to engage them. You just say, "Chuck, you're not good enough. We're not going about in the business."
Right. And the popularity
so
is not an issue
I
for
lose
this
off of them.
This time the popularity is not really the issue for this one, because I tell you this: if they've already decided that they're putting together a compilation and them drop some big names already, I guarantee you that 123 doesn't include any big names, because there's no way Kalanji in that 123 and you say, boy, the thing in my trash. No good. You couldn't find one good. There's no way keep it on that, and I know they would never, but I'm just saying there's no way Christopher Martin in that. There's no way Romeo and Virgo is in that, and you're saying that it. So I do think that, especially after the last uproar, because the year after you notice there were less, if no big names. So I don't think the big names are messing with that anymore. But so it's not for this one, you wouldn't have to worry about the popularity situation, but just the whole concept of 123 songs aren't good enough. You couldn't find
that don't make sense to me at all. That makes 0 sense to me. 123 people?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me how much video me say I pick me at school, I beat desk and DJ. You tell me say nobody now have nothing.
Yeah.
Can I come forward? And as you say, if the best of the best is what you got, then do with what you have.
Yeah. And every other year you get a Lila. Every other year you get a Coffee, you get a Lila. For the past 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, every year we've gotten an outstanding talent. No, I'm not saying outstanding success, but outstanding talent. You know what I mean? We've got the Savannahs, we got the Lilas, we got the Ikeas, we got the Sugar, we got every year or somebody. So you can't tell me, say. Now, bear in mind also, you know, we're talking about the artist, but remember, people say, oh, well, maybe they can refund them entry fee. That's $1,000 if that's what it is. But the song probably costs $30,000 to make.
And that's fine. I mean, schools go to champs and spend millions of dollars to win what? A trophy that you borrow? That's neither here nor there.
True, you know, but they let you in for go run.
Yeah, and they're not going to let you in for go run, whether that you run fast or slow.
Exactly.
But the thing about it with the competition, with this festival thing, them need for, I can't side with Babsy on this one. I don't see why they would leave it out. It just doesn't make any sense. And you don't get up in the parliament yesterday and decide on the podium that, hey, we're not doing the competition, we're not doing the competition, we're just doing a compilation. That decision was not made in that speech. Yeah. That decision was made weeks, months ago.
Long time. Again, I that's why I continue to say, I'm not saying that it didn't start up with the intentions, but that's the thing about politics pretty much, is that anything can change. Nobility is never an importance. It ain't about that. It's about that whatever the agenda is at the time. And we don't owe it to you to do anything, to tell you anything or to do anything right? The moral compass broke. So the thing is, we just do what we do.
J. Cole, I saw Babsy at Penn Relays this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Babsy was definitely not the Babsy of 1990, right?
What do you mean?
She was moving kind of slow.
Oh.
See?
Yeah.
So, I don't know how comes she made the decision then. I don't know how comes.
Well, so let me ask you this. That being said, are you chalking it up to she's aging out of the business? Because at the end of the day,
yes.
the mindset, would the mindset have been any different if she's physically able to, if you think so? Or is just, the thing is what it is right now?
I think she's aging out because even my mother and father, well, my father different because my father been in computers the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
My mother still hold on certain black book and them thing there, you know. She don't put things in her phone, you know, right?
Right.
And it's just so. She did a certain thing they hold on to, and it's just so. I'm going to get that. So you need to do like one of my versions say, yo, I'm not my word anymore. You just let it go and make the pit and do them I do. Right? Because when 40, 50 years ago, when he was a picnic, him was the same way.
Right.
Certain music him want to listen, his mother wouldn't allow him. Certain things him want wear, mother wouldn't allow him. Certain things him want say, mother wouldn't allow him.
Mm-hmm.
But it's different now. So Babsy, make we hear what the things sound like.
So you say you want a petition to hear the 123 song then?
Yeah, man, make we hear them. Make we hear them.
Here's the other thing though. Our devil's advocate, and I'm very scared on this part of it, right? Right now, to how things are going, I would be scared to hear what the festival songs would sound like if they get you if when they get somebody younger for run it, because next thing I hear Jamaica wop 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 wop. You know what I'm saying? So my thing pretty much is
would not give you enough credit, Virgin, because they're very creative.
That's the point.
You got to trust it. You got to trust him. You got to step out, people.
What about somebody fine like Lisa Hanna?
But you know, but yeah, Lisa can think of something like that.
Yeah.
She writes in a mid-range right there, so.
She fine.
Lisa what 40 much? 40 little bit 40 now?
40 fine.
Zane? 40 fine. Bap.
I'm just saying.
Yo, where you like today?
I'm just saying 45.
Put the lights up, 45.
Trust me, I don't. It's. I agree with you in terms of we need new blood, but it's not just about the entertainment sector and the youth and culture. Because here's the thing, especially when I deal with a country like Jamaica, connections is what run everything. The thing that makes Babsy as effective in her ineffective situation is the fact that she is who she is, right? And the years of being in there and the ins and outs. And it's like when you watch some of the mafia movie and you realize, boy, sometimes you think, boy, when the prime minister, the president, or the pope, or whatever the case may be, sometimes him have the phone for call the gangster and the thugs and say, yo, don't do it. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where that kind of contributes. But, we do, I think that when it comes to our whole political system, the issue is, we the concept of one person being in power and in office for so long, because how Jamaica and many of the Caribbean nations run, if them keep winning every year, you can't have a man around the country for 50 years, right? Which is the same ideals for 50 years. And then when arthritis kick in and all that thing kick in and dementia kick in, then them just change the puppet and the same strings. So yes, you're absolutely right. Some changes are needed there, but I think like the previous caller said, the concept of festival music and festival songs is a battle we've been losing for the last from the end of the 90s. I don't think it's something that's been held on to. The sentiment and the sanctity is not there like it used to be. Ageism is real, and I am caught up in ageism too, because I look on the field that I had back then and so forth, and I have to acknowledge that the players in the game are no longer wanting to play that sport. The older people, them don't know that right about now. Them are trying to do what the youth them do, because them hungry too, right? And the youth don't want to put on a green, flashy, Miss Blue looking thing and talk about Jamaica. They don't want that. They want wap, right? So at the end of the day, we are probably going to have to embrace the fact that we're going to have to let it go. And that is not the part I have an issue with. The issue me have is just the whole concept of 123 songs, you couldn't find 6. All of a sudden, you have the album ready to go. You already have artists signed up to go. 2 of the biggest names are signed up to go, which ultimately means you probably have 10 of the other biggest names signed up to go. And then let's pacify the masses by saying, no worry yourself, man. We're looking at delete bin before we really press delete and take out 2 songs and put on a thing. It's salmon. It's fishy.
G. Cole, listen, you mentioned the one, and I think one of the problems with our entertainment is that no one is really teaching the other one.
Mm-hmm.
We're just doing it ourselves,
right.
Which is all fine and dandy that you can be your own self-made person. But one thing I've studied, very successful people in America, and I don't know about Jamaica. I've never been an adult in Jamaica, right? I graduated high school, but I didn't do adult things in Jamaica. So I'm just talking from my American perspective. One thing I've noticed is mentorship. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say mentorship means you're going to tell a man what to do,
Mm-hmm.
Because even me, as I struggle as a podcast, as a presenter, right?
Mm-hmm.
I still watch your program. I watch Star Report. I watch this one. I watch that one. not so much about content, but how you deliver stuff,
Right.
right? And low key, I'm trying to mentor. You guys are my mentors, right? And I've called you and talked about stuff,
Mm-hmm.
this versus that. I don't think that is happening now because every kid feels like they're their own. And that is fine, but at the same time, the quote unquote elders
Mm-hmm.
who complain about things changing are not effecting the change. One of the reasons why, and again, I'll speak up track of you because this is my thing. Glenn Mills, Stephen Francis are excellent coaches in Jamaica. They brought a lot of success, world records, and world beaters to Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that they do very well is change with the time.
Right.
I have seen coaches here in the US, in high school and outside of that, who are still using methods from 1950,
Mm-hmm.
1960, because that's what they were taught,
Right.
right? When I started track and field, I was taught by a Herb McKinley, who
Mm-hmm.
has his methods. As I went through, I remember watching this movie, must be named Higher Learning,
Mm-hmm.
back in the 90s.
Yep.
And at the end of the movie, it said unlearn, right?
Mm-hmm.
That big word came up, unlearn. And I think that was the most powerful line in the movie.
Yep. Yep.
What is happening is our powers that be, quote unquote, don't want to unlearn.
Right.
So just like I bumped into some coaches here who are still doing the same old methods and still getting the same old results, that's why when we Jamaicans, especially our high schoolers and so forth, and Bolt and this, you run certain times, they're like, oh my gosh. But the problem is you guys are not changing with the time.
Right. Right. Right.
Years ago, I think Buju Banton of a tune say, move with the crowd,
Mm-hmm.
move with the crowd. And sometimes the crowd, you might understand, sometimes you don't want to follow people. But in the car business, you lead, follow, or get out the way,
Right. Right.
right? And it's the same thing in the music business. The same thing that applies to business. You're either going to lead it. Who remembers Netscape? Internet
Ah.
Explorer.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's now Google
AOL.
and Bing. Who remembers AOL, right? So things are going to constantly move. And if you're in a technical space, a tech space,
Right.
we have to be technically savvy and create the systems that allow kids to learn from the people from before,
Right.
and also lead them into new hemispheres. And that's the problem we're having. That's why Joshua can come on TV and wild up Anthony Miller.
Damn, but let me ask you this, because we always talk about the evolution and of course evolution and stuff like that, which I agree with. Ageism is a big thing. We because you talk about the youth. The youth are, them are coming with the new things and lack of mentorship. I have conversations a lot of time with the youth. I have a lot more conversations with the elders and the OGs. And there was one point that I also had a purist mindset. And to be honest with you, I was somehow, some way convinced that the youth them are the problem. I'm going to tell you the truth. The youths are more embracing of the elders than the elders are of the youth, right?
Exactly.
So you're absolutely right when it comes to that standpoint. You're more likely to, when I hear the OGs talk, I'll be a condemnation me here, right? I'm in the middle. So at my age, I can vibe with the youth. I could get down with the older folks, right? So when I hear the youths talk, I hear more. No, don't get me wrong. Somebody would tell us, say, well, I know, so them talk to me differently, but I can only speak on what I hear. When I hear the youths talk about the OGs, I hear more reverence. When I hear the OGs talk about the youths, I hear disdain. You understand? So, so that in itself is an issue. And most times when older people speak, they don't speak to, they speak down. As we see it on social media, we see whatever the case may be, our OGs speak with a sense of entitlement, right? At the end of the day, there's nobody, I want to say nobody, that includes me, that's speaking facts. We're speaking opinion. Every word that comes out of my mouth is my opinion, right? I will never tell you. The only thing is a fact is my name. And what go on in my personal thing. But anything else in terms of data and stuff like that is just opinion, right? And all the people who tell you, I was there and I saw this, it's just freaking opinion. Because at the end of the day, another man with the day at the same place with you have a total different opinion. So that's the thing. But the OGs and our leaders don't want to admit that part of it. Now, if we talk about the concept of a Babsy, for example, yielding the torch to somebody else, all right? it's not just in the concept of festival music and what go on with that too, because we do see it in the whole entertainment sphere, period. And it's a little different when it comes to the athletics, because they will find the money and send the media or whomever with the athletics team, but they won't find the money and send it with the entertainers. And the truth is, no disrespect, track and field is revered with Jamaica, but track and field does not bring the money to Jamaica that reggae music brings to Jamaica. You know what I mean?
I don't know numbers. But
track and field makes what I'm getting at is this: track and field makes the athlete money. Reggae music makes the artist money, but reggae music makes the nation more money than anything else that the nation has ever had to offer. It's our branding, it's our packaging, it is our badge, right?
Right.
So at the end of the day, reggae music for these years but investment don't go there. So. And when we talk about this whole festival thing, I wonder if there's a correlation in terms of what the value is on the music, to where, like even the Babsy situation is like, okay, yeah, too much work and too much effort that for go deal with all of that foolishness. I know better we just deal with you know what I mean? We just deal with you know what I'm saying?
And that's probably perfectly true, because then people will always find money and time for things that they deem important and valuable.
Right.
And if them not see the way there, and probably that's what it is. But as you say, rightfully so, 123, you can't find 8 or 10% top 10.
Jono. Hold on, Erica come up next on Jamaicans.com. I never know that. Think say I'm me alone on a Thursday night. That's why I'm there. Talk off my face and have my guests them come.
Oh, time run out. My bad, yo.
Erica, is that what it is? Erica, hold on there. Erica, is that what it is? Is you're coming up next or something like that? Let me know, because I was unaware, and we go and talk off my face, trying to get to the bottom.
The producer never get the time signal.
No, well, I'm gonna be honest with you. And it works for me. I kind of don't. I fire the producer, I fire everybody, so that way it gives me a plausible excuse to say, yo, Jano, it's just me. Yeah, man. Producer, the director, this guy, the writer, whatever the case may be. So you get all the glory, but you get all the blame. You know what I'm saying? So Erica, let me know. Is that what it is? Is that what it is? Is it supposed to come up next? But Richard did want to chime in on it, but I don't even know if I have the time like this now, because Erica got bun me out. But my brother, Jano, I give thanks.
Respect, family.
Always, man. Now, again, let me know when you're passing through the studio. Come through directly, and we do what we do. All right?
All right, Bridget. Cool.
Yeah, man. Look more. Sean Garrett, ladies and gentlemen, from The Sean Show. What's up, world? It is yours truly, G. Cole, and the brand spanking new single Peace of Mind is a Holiday will be available on June 24th. Please add that to your collection. Let's enjoy the summertime, man.
Yeah, man. You can't ignore the sweetness of the music.
Peace of mind is a holiday, and it's a trip that I love to take. And every time that I make this journey, it just blows my mind away. Peace of mind is a holiday, and it's a trip that I love to take. And every time that I make my journey, it just blows my mind away. It's such a blessing to be alive in this world that we all reside. And you can call it to what you want to.
You realize that the music still sweet, don't it?